Good evening. Hi, my name is Elcid de Ramus, and I am with the LA County Assessor's Office. I'm here on behalf of our new assessor. His name is John Noguez, and he started a major outreach program. So we're out in all communities throughout the county. It's a big community, our LA County, with the 88 cities and all of the unincorporated areas. What you have in front of you is our executive package, which we put together, which has all of our, what we like to call our tax savings programs and other information that's helpful as far as property taxes go. So as a show of hands, how many people have received their bills so far? Okay. Everybody's happy, right? Everybody's excited to pay. They're glad. That's why, everybody's smiling. But actually, the bills this year are a little lower, actually, than they would have been just based on the fact that the CPI was lower this year. So everybody kind of got a reduction, even if they were an old property under Prop 13. So if you'll open the package, I'm just going to go through briefly some of the pamphlets that are actually in here. And actually, I bought along a cheat sheet, which kind of goes through all of them too and gives you a little synopsis of them. And I also brought some other information that you can pick up on the way out. But to go through our first pamphlet, which is the yellow one, if you look at the yellow pamphlet, this is our general information regarding property taxes. And this will give you a general idea and hopefully explain to you why and what you're paying taxes for. Because the biggest thing that we find in our office is that it's the fact that people just don't understand what they're paying or why they're paying it. So that's why we are kind of out here and we're doing this outreach so that we can explain and help you understand. And hopefully if there's any issues that you can bring directly to me, that's what I'm here for as well. I am actually your community liaison person for Santa Clarita. So I'll have my card here, so if anybody has any issues, and if you even go to the city of Santa Clarita, I'm registered with them to call if there's any issues. So I usually deal with the city on whatever tax issues they have. So if you'll go to the big one, the one everybody's here to talk about, is the pink one. And that is what we call the decline in value. Now the decline in value is a part of Prop 13, which states that at any time, the market value exceeds the taxable value, the value that we're taxing you. If at any point we are to reduce your value to whatever the current market is, and as the market goes back up, we'll trend it back up to whatever your Prop 13 base was. Now that's like I said, in that I've actually brought applications for the decline in value, and they're actually available online. We have a paperless system online where you could actually file online, and you can check it periodically online to see the results, because we'll send you the results by email and stuff like that. So we're really excited about our website and how we can save money and paper by doing it that way. But there is a lot of people that don't have it, so you can print it out or we can mail it to you. So whatever way we can get it to you, we'll get it to you. And what the decline in value, it's very simple. We've simplified it. We're asking you to tell us what you think the value is. And we're actually asking you for 2 comps. But the reality of it is you don't need to put the comps. If you just tell us you think it's too high, we will review it and see if we can get a reduction for you. Because the mandate from our assessor is he doesn't want anybody to pay 1 cent more than they are responsible to pay. And that's why we've started and we've been very proactive on our decline in value. So like I said, all you have to do is send us that form and we will review it. So I don't know how many people in the audience have got a reduction. Oh, there's one.
I got one last year, though.
Last year? Okay. Well, the way a lot of you guys must have owned your properties for a long time, right? Because hopefully what happened in 2006, 2007, when the real estate peaked, the market peaked, and the values went back up, when they reduced down and everybody felt the properties were down, they weren't really down farther than like 2003, 2004. But during that period, in 2009, 10, and 11, we've actually done about 600,000 reductions for people who had bought in that high period where the values went back down. I mean, but we had some outliers, people that bought, people in Lancaster and other issues there that they've had. Their values have actually gone back to the late 80s, early 90s. So we've had a lot of reductions in that area.
Sir?
Yes.
I have one question. What are the chances if I call you and say, my $500,000 house is, I think, worth $400,000, and you take that and you run and you come back and say, oh no, it's worth $600,000. You know, what are the chances of drawing attention to myself? And
No. Luckily,
is that ever going to happen?
That's never going to happen. We're under Prop 13, and Prop 13 limits us. So the only thing we can do under Prop 13 is reduce you.
It's reduced.
We could never charge you more than your Prop 13 base, which everybody knows your Prop 13 means that when you buy a piece of property, whatever the market is at that time you buy becomes what we call your base value. And then it can only go up 2% maximum, and that 2% is tied into the CPI. As long as the CPI is more than 2%, then it can maximally go up 2%. And that's what I was saying in the last few years. Everybody got a reduction because the CPI was less than 2%, so you didn't get that 2%. You got whatever the CPI was at that time. So no, you don't have that fear at all. So no, please, if you feel it is, please let us know so that we can see if we can reduce that for you. Okay. And considering that there is a deadline, though, the deadline, because the filing period is between July and November 30th, and that deadline is coming up, so you need to file before November 30th. And also, there's what's called the Assessment Appeals Board. Now, the Assessment Appeals Board is there because sometimes, for some reason, you guys don't always agree with the assessor. I don't understand that. I mean, we're always doing the best. But sometimes you don't agree, and when you don't agree, there is a remedy. The assessor is not the final answer. You can go to the appeals board, and you can appeal. It's a board of real estate professionals that are appointed by the Board of Supervisors. Each supervisor appoints someone to that board, and your case goes before them, and it's like a court case where you present your evidence as to why you feel it should be lower, and then there's an assessor person on the other side that's saying why it should be what it is. And their filing period is also November 30th. So what we like you to do is to go ahead and file with them if you really feel strongly that we have the incorrect assessment, to file with them to protect yourself, because if you file with us now, you won't get a result before their filing period ends November 30th. And I've also brought some of their applications here tonight as well. I went to their office earlier and grabbed some. So just in case, just to cover yourself, we asked you to do that. But hopefully we'll do the right by you and you'll agree, and we both agree on the correct value. Okay, let me tell you about some other propositions that are out there, which is the blue one, which is the guide to Proposition 58. Now, this one is where you can transfer property between parent and child. And parent and child transfers are exempt from reassessment of your principal place of residence, and they're exempt from reassessment on non-principal residence up to $1 million. So that you want to do, if you want to transfer some property to your kids or you want to do whatever, you're exempt from reassessment. So pay close attention to that one. That is a very good and cost-saving proposition that's out there. And I want to talk about the other one, which is Proposition 60, the green form. And Proposition 60 is it's a replacement dwelling. So if you were to buy a house, if you own your house now and you're bought it a long time and you have a low base value, so you're paying a low tax, You can actually buy a house somewhere else within the county, and that's the Prop 60, of equal or lesser value, and take that tax bill with you. So you would pay the same exact tax you were paying. You wouldn't pay because if you typically own a house that you buy for $200,000, and then you sell it for $600,000, and you buy a new house for $600,000, you're probably looking at a tax bill of about $6,500. But with Proposition 60, you're going to take that $200,000 base with you. So then you're looking at your same old tax of about $2,200 or something. So that's the 60. And then there's a 90 connected to that, where there's 6 other counties throughout actually there's 8 other counties throughout California that will allow you to move to their counties. But that changes daily because the county can opt in and out. So that you want to go to our website or go to whatever county you want to go to and check with them to see if they're part of the program. Okay, then I want to bring your attention to the gray pamphlet. Now, the gray pamphlet is Proposition 110, which is very important. It affects permanently or severely disabled persons. So, for example, if you need to put a ramp in your house, or you need to redo your kitchen because somebody is in a wheelchair now and they can't reach the cabinets, and you have to redo some modification in your house that would typically raise your tax bill or can be called new construction. That is exempt under Proposition 110. That means the assessor will not assess that. We will leave it alone. And typically, it's just a doctor's note saying that it's because of your disability, you need to make those changes. I mean, I've had cases where somebody had to add a room to accommodate someone, and that additional room was exempt from reassessment. So that is a very, like I say, important one, especially if you have disabled vets or you have whatever and you have to make changes. We are there to help you with that and through that without additional cost to you. Okay, let me go through this form here, which is sort of beige-ish, which is called Death of a Real Property Owner. Now, this is important because you have to notify the assessor if there's a property owner that dies, because typically if you're handling someone's estate or whatever, you typically get a year to notify us. After the year, you can be penalized for not notifying us, because technically when someone dies, it's considered a change in ownership. And that's why that needs to be done with us. Okay. And if you look in your pamphlets, what I have also in here is just a copy of our website. And like I said, we're really proud of our website. We've done a lot to make it easy for you, easy to get through. And what's available here is you can go and you can see maps, you can see current values, you can see old values. And we have what's called, I don't know, how many people have dealt with a supplemental tax bill? A supplemental tax bill? Now, generally, you get a supplemental tax bill when you first buy a house, and the reason you get it is because the house has a value that we're taxing it, and if you buy it for a higher price, then it takes us a while to get that price on the record, so you're still paying that old value, and then we send a supplemental to pick up the difference. And everybody's curious what the supplemental is going to be. Well, we've developed what's called a supplemental estimator. So even before you buy that house, you can put the numbers in there. You could say, well, this is what's on the tax roll, and this is what I'm buying it for. And it'll tell you exactly what your supplemental is going to be based on that purchase. So that's a really good thing on our website. And then, of course, we have our latest news and other information, because our job is to educate as much as we can. Because like I said, the biggest thing that we found is that people just don't understand. And if you understand, then you're more willing to pay, not to pay, but to understand why you're paying and not be so upset about paying. Because we all have to pay. I mean, I'm upset. I got to pay. We all have to pay. And then we have some of our press releases in here. And one of them actually, I believe, talks about, it doesn't talk about, but I want to talk about some of the scams that are out there to watch out for. that there's a lot of companies out there asking you to do what I'm telling you about the decline in value. They want to charge you $49. Some companies want to charge you $150 to do something that's free, something that we do for free, and something, like I said, you don't even need comps. You don't need anything else to do. So that information is really important, and please tell your friends or tell whatever. And actually, on our website, you'll go, we actually have some videos of some information of that happening to people and how to just call us. If anybody calls you and says, hey, we want you to do this for your property or whatever, please call us, because we work real closely with the DA, and we need to get that information out there so that people don't get scammed by the people trying to charge stuff that the county does for free. And another scam that's out there, I know I work a lot with the recorder's office, and there's those scams that are saying you pay us $50 and we'll get your deed and we'll do other stuff like that when you can get it yourself for like $13, things like that. So the biggest thing the new assessor wants everybody to know is that the assessor's office is a county department, and technically we are your valuation agency. We are the ones that their cities are contracted with to do your valuation, but we consider ourselves more than just that we are a resource, that we actually are heavily involved in the county, so we deal with pretty much every department. So even if you have an issue with regional planning or you have an issue with any department within the county, you can call us and we will assist you. We actually have what's known in the county, the only county that we know of and we research that has a taxpayer advocate. So we actually have a taxpayer advocate in our office, and she's really good, and she works with all the other departments, and her biggest job is just to help cut through red tape. And like I said, even if it's unassessor related, we will help you with it. So that's the message I want to send. But I'm ready to answer some questions if anybody has any. Yes, the one lady that got a reduction in the back. Don't tell me you want more.
Yes, actually, that's what I was going to ask. I did buy my house in the height of the market, so now it's really undervalued. And I did fill out the paperwork and did get a reduction, but that was either last year or the year before. Mm-hmm. And it's still, our property values have continued to go down. Okay. So I want to know how often a year you can fill out this form, and can you do it at least once every year?
Yes, you can do it once every year, but I can tell you, if we gave you a reduction, then you're automatically put into our system to be reviewed every year to see if it's going to go down. And that's going to happen every year until the market goes back to where you were at your Prop 13 level. So that's an automatic thing. And if you have been reduced, if you can go to our website and just put your parcel number in, then it will see where you are and give you the updated information. It'll say, you know, we gave you a reduction last year, and this is your reduction this year, or we felt that the reduction wasn't warranted. And even if you get that and you still feel that it should be lower, then please fill out the application so that we can do another formal review with you. Thank you. Any other questions? Answers? Yes.
I have a couple. Could you just briefly go over the exemptions in the yellow pamphlet? And the ones I'm interested in are the homeowner's exemption, and veterans exemption, disabled veterans exemption, and the exclusion for seniors and disabled. I think you went over.
Yeah, that's the 110, which is the seniors and disabled, which means if you do any improvements to facilitate your disability to help you, then we will exempt you from any of those changes that you make. Now, the homeowner's exemption is $7,000 off of your assessed value, which translates into about $75 a year in your property taxes. And that is, we send that to everybody when you buy a home. It's just 4 simple questions: when do you buy it, and do you live there? And the reason you get the homeowner's exemption is because, as a homeowner, you no longer qualify for renter's credit. So some smart person and legislator said, hey, homeowners are getting a bum deal because as a renter, you can get some money off of your income taxes. So that's where they came up with the homeowner's exemption. But it's still, we work with them all the time, with the legislators all the time to try to increase it. We haven't, I mean, it's really hard in these times, but for years we've been trying to get that increase. But the homeowner's exemption is something you need to have on your property. It's an automatic $75, and if you live there, that automatically qualifies you for that exemption. And what was the other exemption? Was the...
I was curious about the veterans exemption.
Oh, the veterans
'Cause
exemption.
I don't remember seeing that before.
Yeah, the veterans exemption is, if you're just a vet, the veterans exemption, there's a $4,000 exemption, but since they came up with the homeowners exemption, which is more, it's better to have the homeowners than just the straight veterans, but you can only have one or the other. But the other part of the veterans exemption is severely disabled vets. 100% disabled or qualify for an exemption of property taxes. So that's a pretty detailed thing, and you need to present documentation. But that you need to call us, and we'll see where you qualify and stuff like that. But that is definitely a very important exemption, especially, you know, with war vets coming back and stuff like that. So that is really important. So I would definitely, if you have any disability from the work, to call us to see if you qualify for that exemption, and we can give you that exemption. Yes. Any other questions? Oh, thank you.